You are watching KVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman.
And I'm Trenton Whiting.
Texas is stepping up as one of 9 states sending brave firefighters to battle the raging wildfire in Los Angeles. Texas crews are joining a nationwide effort to protect lives, home and wildlife.
Yeah, Texas is one of the states that stepped up. We currently now have 9 states that are supporting our efforts out here. In fact, where the Texas crew under our EMAC process, they'll be exactly where the Mexicans team will be in the hand crews, and they'll go through an orientation process, about 6 hours, 5-6 hours of training, and then we'll be sending folks out.
As the fire continues in Los Angeles, the death total has risen to 16 people. So let's continue to keep Los Angeles in our prayers.
Yes, now it's time to check in on our weather with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining. Trey.
Well, on the outside around here, so has some cloudy skies in the area, with temperatures beginning to fall now, 51 degrees. Not anywhere as cold tonight as it was last night. Thankful for that. Northern winds are 10 miles per hour. The humidity levels are 61%. So somehow the humidity in the air with more southerly wind taking hold tomorrow, which will give us more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Warmer feel. That's what I'm trying to say. And it'll be pretty mild throughout the week. Then some cold air heads our way again. How cold will it get and what day will that be? We'll give you the details coming up later on in the full forecast. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Trey, for the weather update. The Victoria County Public Health Department is hosting a community resource center starting January 21st for residents needing help with essential service resources. They will help with job-seeking documents like applications and resumes, as well as applications for food stamps, SNAP, and disability benefits. They will also provide computer access and a resource library for mental health. The center is open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more information, call 361-703-5426.
January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month in the U.S., when enforcement agencies advise residents about signs that might hint to human trafficking. The U.S. began recognizing the month in 2010 to educate the public how to identify and prevent trafficking. The crime can include forced labor or sex trafficking. In 2016, the U.S. Advisory Council on Human Trafficking held their first meeting to game plan solutions. The website of Attorney General Ken Paxton shows 185 arrests for trafficking in 2020 with 28 convictions. The Victoria Police Department and Fire Department will host their first Lunch and Learn of the year with a presentation on human trafficking at the Community Center Dome. It'll be on Wednesday, January 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Interested residents can register at victoriapd.com. The Civilian Police Academy Alumni Association will provide lunch, and Melissa Rendon and Barbara Hand will present the information for those who attend.
Now, at least 16 people are believed to be dead, with Los Angeles County Sheriff saying they expect that number to rise as the devastating fire spread across Southern California aimed at dry and windy conditions, leaving officials scrambling to contain the historic destruction. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest.
Nearly 10 million people across Southern California are under a red flag warning and fire weather watch through Wednesday. Progress made by firefighters over the past few days could be in jeopardy.
These winds, combined with low humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in Los Angeles County high.
As the fires spread, over 150,000 people are under evacuation orders and 160,000 are under evacuation warnings. The Eaton fire has burned over 14,000 acres and destroyed and damaged 7,000 structures. The Palisades fire now expanding in other directions, leaving behind over 21,000 acres scorched.
I mean, first of all, this is something we never expected because of where we are. This was the safe part of the Palisades.
On Saturday, Governor Gavin Newsom greeted Mexican firefighters who joined 13,000 workers already on the ground to fight the fires. This is the ATF, who is now leading a task force investigating the cause and origin of the Palisades fire. The number of people killed in these fires has been going up. Today, cadaver dogs are being brought into these homes to look for more victims who could not get out. Alex Stone, ABC News, Altadena, California.
Now, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner announced tonight that it is now investigating a total of 24 possible fire-related deaths. 16 total cases related to Eden fires and 8 to the Palisades fires. 10 deaths have been confirmed so far by the department, but 14 more cases are now under investigation. However, the medical examiner office says those new cases cannot yet be confirmed as human remains until they are processed by the department, but it seems likely to death tolls related to the California wildfire will rise. The Palisades fire has now burned more than 17,000 acres, while the Eden fire has grown to more than 10,000 acres. The Victoria County Commissioner Court will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. They will discuss several budget items and accept a few donations as well. Notable items on the agenda are the records grant for control tower radios for the Victoria Airport and a truck donations for Jackson County to the Victoria County Sheriff Office and establishing their intent to create the Victoria County programs of all-inclusive care for the elderly. Commissioner Court meetings are in Victoria County Courthouse at 115 North Bridge Street.
Now to some newly released body cam video of the deadly shootout with the New Orleans terror suspect. The video shows the dramatic gunfire exchange on New Year's Day. Shamsuddin Jabbar died at the scene after ramming his pickup truck into a crowd of revelers on Bourbon Street. And tonight, the injured police officers are now out of the hospital.
2 police officers involved in the shootout with the man behind the deadly New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans, now home from the hospital tonight. Their recovery comes as New Orleans police released an edited, dramatic body camera video showing 42-year-old suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar immediately opening fire on officers just moments after he plowed through a crowd on Bourbon Street, killing 14 and injuring dozens. In the nearly 12-second clip of the encounter, officers ordered Jabbar to surrender before a barrage of gunshots erupt. One slow-motion clip shows the suspect's hand and the deployed airbag. Inside that white pickup truck, flammable liquid seen here in photos first obtained by ABC News. Officials fearing Jabbar's deadly rampage could have been worse had he been able to detonate those homemade explosive devices found nearby.
Officers are trained for shoot scenarios like that. They are highly trained, and that's what you saw. These are split-second decisions.
The Louisiana Attorney General announcing a full investigation into any operational security failures that day.
And as the city looks for answers tonight, the heartbreak lingers. Family and friends remembering 18-year-old Nakira Dido, the youngest of the 14 lives lost during that New Year's Day tragedy. She was laid to rest today. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Jersey City.
A heartfelt reunion between a man and his dog several days after the wildfires swept through Pacific Palisades, California. Casey Colvin, who lost his home in the Palisades fire, came back to his neighborhood today to find his dog, Oreo, hiding amongst the burned rubble. Colvin was overjoyed to find Oreo still alive after 5 long days. NBC News' Liz was able to capture their special moment on camera.
Since the U.S. Supreme Court allowed states like Texas to ban nearly all abortions, the number of pregnancy terminations in the United States actually increased. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website at crossroadstoday.com. And for more on today's news stories, go ahead and come to crossroadstoday.com. And don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Coming up, FBI briefs ahead of explosive hearing for defense nominee Pete Hegseth. Coming up.
On the outside, cloudy skies still around the region with rain in the offshore waters, not affecting us, but the temperature is pretty mild overall. Then the big cold air comes back again. We'll give you the details coming up in your forecast.
Now on to politics and confirmation hearing for some of the President-elect Trump cabinet picks. The FBI briefing committee members on a Secretary of Defense nominee. Pete Hegseth, the former Fox News host, is one of the Trump's most controversial selections, and his hearing on Tuesday could be explosive. ABC Marcely Parks reporting from Capitol Hill tonight.
Tonight, several of President-elect Donald Trump's nominees gearing up for a public grilling. 14 Senate confirmation hearings scheduled for this week. One of the first, former Fox News anchor Pete Hegseth, nominated to be the Secretary of Defense in the hot seat Tuesday. Hegseth has faced allegations of sexual and financial misconduct as well as alcohol abuse. He will also face tough questions about his policy positions. He has in the past been highly critical of the Pentagon's efforts to diversify.
Because I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
Hegseth denies all allegations and has never been charged. And now he says he supports women serving today. Republicans have 53 seats in the Senate, meaning nominees do not need Democratic votes, but they also cannot afford to lose more than 2 Republicans. One big question mark, Republican Senator Joni Ernst, a former lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves who did multiple combat tours and has been hesitant about Hegseth's nomination. ABC News learning that Hegseth sat for an interview with the FBI as investigators interviewed multiple people from his personal life as a part of a background check. Tonight, top senators on the committee briefed on the results of that investigation. And after weeks of meetings across Capitol Hill, Tulsi Gabbard, tapped to be Trump's director of national intelligence, gaining ground over the weekend after a major reversal, now in support of an overseas surveillance program she once opposed, saying it needed reform. And Vice President-elect J.D. Vance seeming to couch Trump's promise to pardon January 6th rioters, saying that if someone committed violence that day, they should obviously not be pardoned. But just last week, Trump was asked specifically about people who attacked police officers, and he did not answer directly. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is suspending some state requirements to build in an effort to help fire victims rebuild faster. Newsom signed the executive order Sunday. For people impacted by the wildfires, the order suspends some permit and review requirements under the California Environmental Quality Act and the California Coastal Act. The order also directs state agencies to identify other permitting requirements that can be suspended to allow faster, more affordable rebuilding. Newsom also extended protections against price gouging on building materials and other essential goods for the next year.
And President Biden is expected to propose a plan to limit nicotine levels in cigarettes, potentially cutting addiction risk by up to 95%. The move aimed at countering the tobacco industry, exclusive e-cigarettes, and nicotine replacement products.
Details remain unclear, and finalizing the rule could take years. Cigarette smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in the U.S., killing over 480,000 people annually. Hundreds of volunteers gather at the Pasadena Community Job Centers to team up with workers for a street cleanup.
As strike teams descend on fires burning in Southern California, a fire relief brigade comprised of volunteers and day laborers was deployed throughout Pasadena.
I was actually impacted by the fire, so I had to evacuate, but I didn't want to feel helpless.
Do not pick anything up without your gloves.
We came out here to organize food donations, clothes, even clean up the streets during this time, and I think I'm just really encouraged by the outpouring of love and community care that we have for one another.
Oh, well, I'm just eternally grateful.
Leah Enkelis evacuated after the Eaton fire sparked.
I mean, the White House that's across the street from me, I could see flames that they looked as if they were shooting up from their backyard. They weren't, but it was that effect of looking so close.
The homes in this Pasadena neighborhood weren't destroyed in the Eaton fire, but the residents that had to evacuate came home to this. These downed tree limbs are a result of the strong winds that came through the area and stuck around for days. Well, now these residents that are repopulating their neighborhood, they don't have to wait for cleanup. In fact, they're getting a helping hand.
While this neighborhood was spared by flames, Leah says the cleanup has been a tall task. This movement, organized by the Pasadena Community Job Center, that connects homeowners and contractors with skilled day laborers.
Right now we know the city is doesn't have the capacity right now to help with the cleanup. They're trying to support some of the families that have been affected. So that's why the workers have raised their hand to uplift the community.
Clearing roadways, sidewalks, hundreds gathered to beautify the community they call home.
These are acts of love. This is what our community needs. This is what mutual aid is. This is what unity is. This is what solidarity is.
In Pasadena, Vanessa Vasconcelos, ABC 30 Action News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with President Joe Biden about progress in Gaza ceasefire hostage negotiations. Netanyahu thanked Biden for his support and updated him on Israel's delegation in Doha, working on the release of the hostages. Meetings with Israeli officials continue as negotiators report cautious optimism.
Now this leads us to your viewer poll for today. With all these issues going on in the world, we want to know what issue concerns you the most in 2025. So rising costs of living, crime and public safety, climate change and natural disasters, healthcare access. And so far that is still in the lead. Earlier it was rising costs of living, which I believe was at 71%. Now it is at 74%. And that is a winning leading answer, rising costs of living, which I think is my concern as well. Affordable living is like, wow, that's important. But to participate in our viewer poll, please visit our website at crossroadstoday.com/vote.
And experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus.
Let's take a review of the day. 61 degrees was the high in Victoria, low 31 degrees, so we're actually under freezing. Our average is 65 and 43. And for rainfall, we're actually above normal for the month and the year so far. Any more rain headed our way? We'll take a look coming up in your forecast. Good evening, everyone. Give a quick birthday shout out right quick to Mary Morales. Birthday is tomorrow, 88 years old. Love you, Mary. Happy birthday from all of us here, okay? And let's take a look at the temperatures currently. We're starting off, by the time we get to 11 o'clock, it's almost this time. We're in the 40s and continue to fall as we head toward the rest of the night. With some breaks in the cloud cover, allowing the temperature to fall a little bit more. We should be above freezing though by the time we get to early tomorrow morning. By 9 o'clock in the morning on your Monday, temperatures be in the 40s. Low 40s and 30s still from Yoakum northward along I-10. So definitely a cold morning to start, but more mild as we head toward the afternoon time, 12 noon. Be about 57 degrees, topping 60 by 2 o'clock in the afternoon with sunny to partly cloudy skies. Another cool morning expected coming up for your day on Tuesday early morning time. So keep that in mind as you're making your plans. And a little bit of rain activity earlier along the coast. That's now moved toward Louisiana. I'm exiting our area here. That's just false echo we see there on the radar scope there. So no precipitation for us for the time being. But we have northerly winds keeping the atmosphere rather dry and keeping the clouds in a little bit. Some of that overrunning moisture up with the cool air at the surface will keep that partly cloudy feel to the sky as we head toward the next couple of days down the road. Feel like temperature, which is the air, which is the wind chill factor. When you add the air temperature and the wind factor in, what it feels like to the skin, temperatures in the 40s, 30s by 4 o'clock in the morning as you're out that early. And then by 7 o'clock we'll be in the low to mid-30s area-wise. There's definitely a big chill in the air. Big coat time tomorrow morning as you head to work or school or what have you that you may be doing. Mild by the afternoon. Near 60 degrees coming up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so feeling pretty nice. We have the northerly winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere, keeping that cool, dry air in place. A little low pressure area headed toward Louisiana, as you see right there. Gave us a little bit of rain along the coast earlier. Northern winds will continue, but notice as we get toward your day on Monday into your Tuesday, more of a southerly wind flow coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, which will bring back the cloud cover and give us a little bit more higher humidity and allowing the temperatures to be a little bit more milder throughout the rest of this week. Not anything too dramatically cold or anything or too dramatically warm, but definitely a cool feel to the air, but not anywhere near the cold temperatures we had last week. But down the road, seeing a pretty strong front headed through our area coming up by about Saturday or so, which will give us some big chill air coming up by the first part of next week. More on that a little bit later on. So enjoy the mild temperatures this week, and then the temperatures heading downward as we head toward the weekend. Port Lavaca, Calhoun County, how you doing? We're seeing temperatures about 44 degrees coming up by 6 o'clock in the morning. By 9 a.m. in 46-degree range. It's probably topping 60 by 3 o'clock in the afternoon with sunny conditions looking pretty nice and feeling pretty nice too. Mild in the afternoon after a chilly start. Cuero, we'll see sunny skies throughout the day on your Monday with temperatures in the 60s for a daytime high with northerly winds. And also in Victoria, plan your Monday. We are definitely doing that with sunny skies throughout the time period coming up for your day tomorrow with 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 62 degrees. An extended forecast for us here. Notice a change coming up. Not too much for the start off with partly cloudy skies. Small rain chance toward the middle of the latter half of the week. Then a strong front moves through on Saturday right around this time frame here. And temperatures take a plunge down, 43 degrees with a high. On Sunday with lows more than likely in the 20s. So getting that Arctic feel yet again. Don't put your big coats away. But mild throughout the rest of the week. Temperatures near 70 degrees are topping that coming up by Friday and Saturday. So you see right there with lows in the 50s by then. So a little mild break, and then the cold air returns again. So get prepared for that. Otherwise, not looking too bad for the week with some cloudy conditions and temperatures pretty much on the comfortable side. Take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code. You see right there. They'll take you to a webpage. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, free of charge to use and have on your phone to be connected with us. So see Ray over there with sports.
Thank you, Trey. We got some local pro wrestling to talk about today coming up in sports. See what the Aces Pro Wrestling promotion got in store for Victoria tonight. All right, now let's talk about some local pro wrestling in the Crossroads. This weekend, our friends at the Aces is back with their event titled That One Night 2. This was my second time covering this event, and the Aces definitely followed up from their previous show. Another great show in the history books for the Aces in the match titled The War to Settle the Score that saw the Lone Star Mafia beat the team of Cuervo, Decimus, and Calibus. In some championship action, we saw a newly crowned LWA Rise Division champion in Roderick Rodzilla, and Victoria's own Chamberlain retained his Lucha Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Here's a word from those champions.
I was born and raised here. You know, there's a little place called Under the Hill. If you know, you know what I mean? Coming from the bottom. Homelessness, you name it, all the way to becoming world champion in my hometown in front of my peers and strangers all the same. You know, everyone came out here, brought that energy, you know.
It's definitely given me a stronger connection with the fans in Victoria because every time I come to this place, it's awesome. Like the crowd, the kids, they love Rodzilla. I'm Laredo's finest, baby. And now that I got the gold, I'm the man.
All right, thank you, Carlos Godetta. Bay City wide receiver Exilin Williams was honored at the Ford Tough banquet yesterday in Frisco. Williams set a school record for most touchdown reception with 21 total. He finished with 1,205 receiving yards and 21 receiving touchdowns. Big congrats to Exilin Williams and the Bay City Black Cats. And this looks to be an eventful offseason for the Houston Astros. Their pitcher, Framber Valdez, has signed a one-year deal on Thursday. This deal is worth $18 million. This all comes after he went 15 for 7 and striking out 169 times this season. The Astros will need him if they plan on making a run for the AL West title. He also finished 15 in AL MVP voting. And let's talk more about the Houston Texans, who began their postseason run. Nico Collins led the Texans in receiving yards with 122, and there you saw earlier was his lone touchdown. But the Texans really took over with their coverage defense as Eric Murray makes a pick six to make the lead bigger and secure the victory entering the fourth quarter. C.J. Stroud finished with 282 receiving yards. The Texans will have their work cut out for them in the AFC divisional round matchup. We'll have updates on when the game will take place as they will be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And as the wildfires continue to impact the NFL and the NBA, the Houston Texans have begun their efforts to try and help respond to the relief going on. They have reportedly donated $1 million to California. Texans chair and CEO saying in part, "We are proud to join together with our NFL family to provide support and resources to those who have been impacted, as well as the firefighters and first responders who continue to work tirelessly to contain the fires." And the Houston Rockets have welcomed back their third draft pick from last year's draft, Reed Shepherd. He's now on the active roster. Shepherd has been on fire in the G League, playing for the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, most recently erupting for 24 points and 9 assists in a win over the G League Wolves. And let's hope the three-point shooting can transfer to the NBA. The Rockets prepare to host the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow in a battle for the #2 Western Conference seed. Now, Trenton, I know you're a huge Rockets fan, and I'm a huge Grizzlies fan, so it's going to be a big night in the newsroom tomorrow, should you say. Boo.
I don't know what just happened, but it's going to be a big night in the newsroom. But we learned something about wrestling moves as well, and Victoria wrestler retains title. Coming up next.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Lucha Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Entering the ring right now at this time, I present to you, Lowrider.
Lowrider. And speaking of the pro wrestling event here in Victoria, 25 News Now sports reporter Ray Robinson was a special guest ring announcer in the main event. This match saw Victoria's own Legend Chamberlain retain his Lucha Pro Heavyweight Championship against Lowrider.
Wow, Ray, impressive.
I see that your voice was like you're a great announcer.
Come on, man. I see a little side career coming along.
It won't start nothing, it won't be nothing.
Wow. So tell us about your experience there at the wrestling match.
As a huge wrestling fan, I credit wrestling for one of the reasons why I do what I do today. It gives me the ability to speak confidently, man. And so you know, anytime an opportunity presents itself where I can cover some pro wrestling here in Victoria, I'm going to take it. And I just want to be thankful to the Aces Pro Wrestling and Carlos Guerrero for the opportunity and participating in some of it.
That's really good. Now, Trey, we're going to go on to weather. Can you tell us what the weather's going to look like throughout the week?
We have this weather in a headlock here. With slam dunk on the mat or whatever it is. All right, Monday, partly cloudy skies, highs near 60 degrees. 50s the rest of the week, 70s coming up at the end of the week. And the bottom drums up again with cold air coming in by Sunday, so get prepared for that. Cloudy skies throughout the week and not much rain chances.
Well, thank you so much for the weather, and thank y'all for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Crossroads Today and join Carolina Estrón and Parker Cox for 25 News, now sunrise at 5 a.m.
Have a great night.